Candidate O'Leary, this goes to the history of Waterbury. What would you say are the three biggest mistakes that Waterbury has made in its history? And what are the three best things that Waterbury has done in its history?
Now that's a hard one. Okay. Yeah. The biggest mistakes I think that we've made is we've never really been able to redefine who we are after the brass mills closed. Right? We lost a lot of jobs. It's we can talk about it all night as to why those jobs left, but the brass industry changed, and we went to plastics, and we went to all different types of materials, and we lost our identity as the brass capital of the world when those big three closed. That was a big mistake. Another big mistake is, quite frankly, I think that there has been very little vision of what Waterbury should look like. That vision should have started immediately after the brass factories closed. People should have, in leadership positions back then, should have started to think, what is the city going to look like in 10, 20, and 30, and 40, and 50 years out? And there's been very little of that. There's been it's almost been non-existent, quite frankly. I think that was a big mistake. And I think that, honestly, if I could think of one other inefficiency, it might be the lack of leadership in government. And I'm talking about accountability, I'm talking about, holding people responsible for things that they say they're going to do and not do. And I'm not very good at knocking Waterbury, because I love Waterbury. And that's why we're all here, I think, because we care about Waterbury. But I think the thing that we can do now is work together and focus on what the vision is going to be for Waterbury in the future, what the identity for the city is going to be in the future. And quite frankly, we're only going to do that if we all work together and believe in Waterbury. And I think all of you are here because you believe in Waterbury. I know that we're all here up here because we believe in Waterbury. We just got different visions and ideas. But at least we're here, and at least we're trying. And I think that's what's important. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate O'Leary. Candidate Van Stone, would you support a significant tax incentive to an employer based on a sliding scale relative to the percentage of payroll per city resident? In other words, if the company hires more residents in Waterbury, should they get a bigger tax relief than, for instance, somebody who may have the same total number of employees and salary, but they allow them to live in other towns? Does that make sense? I know it's a complicated one.
It does. I think if you are the controller of that company, it would be a train wreck to try to figure out who's where and what your tax base should be. I think that's one of the questions that sounds good on a piece of paper, but will be unworkable in real life. I would prefer just a lower tax rate for all companies. I think that is, as I said before, the way to get the businesses here. I know Alderman argues differently, but I know, just in our shop, and even though most of us deal in the health field in my company, we do have a manufacturing lab as well. Our property taxes on all our equipment building went up just over $30,000. That's a job. So businesses do care about how much money goes out as a cost of living or a cost of goods that really don't bring any money back into the company. So if each company out there is losing that number of people or that number of money to each year just a property tax, and they have to potentially lay off a person to make up for that, that's not good for anybody. But to answer your question, to have a sliding scale of whether or not they live in the city versus live out of the city, I think that sounds good on paper, but I don't think that would really be workable. And it, quite frankly, might be illegal. So I don't think I would support that without knowing a lot more about that proposal.
Thank you, Candidate Van Stone. At this point, then, we just have a few minutes left. We're going to have each of the candidates give a little more information about themselves on the way out. I'd like to, first of all, though, thank the church for allowing us to have this forum. Thank Mayor O'Leary. I know that he had several scheduling conflicts, and he came out for us. I know that each of the candidates had a busy schedule, so Candidate DePillo, thank you. Candidate Van Stone, thank you. I'd like to now offer the final words from Candidate O'Leary.
Okay. And again, thank you all for being here. You know, these forums are always interesting, and this has been fun, and I've enjoyed it. You know, I can only tell you that, you know, we're running again because I believe that we have a team of qualified candidates, from the Board of Aldermen to the Board of Education to the city clerk, the city sheriff, the town clerk, and the mayor's office. I think you've got a team in place that really cares, number one, dares to care, number two, and makes some courageous decisions, number three, on your behalf. Decisions that are not always easily made, such as switching over to the third-party administrator from Blue Cross to Blue Shield, such as putting out the trash bid for the first time ever. We saved millions of dollars taking it away from CRA and putting it out to Cabanta. These are tough, courageous decisions because, quite frankly, we did it because we thought it was going to save more money, be more efficient. You know, we've been very diligent working with our seniors. We started the brass office. We've dealt with thousands of seniors over the last 16 months, thousands of referrals, and we've hired full-time staff to take care of our elderly, which is, I think, personally, one of our biggest, best assets. We've worked very hard on economic development. We've brought in factories and jobs I've already spoken about. We've supported education. We've done enormous work in brownfield remediation. I've testified and been asked to testify at 2 national brownfield remediation conferences. We're constantly fighting blight. We've held employees accountable. Can we do more? Absolutely. Absolutely. Have we reached every peak that I would have liked to have gotten to in 22 months? I think we've done okay. I would disagree that we're in the same place we were two years ago. I really would strongly disagree with that. We're going in a good direction, and we're going with great momentum. We've forged relationships with our partners in the federal government, state government, and local government. Is that the warning or the time?
Well, that was it.
Thank you.
Sorry for the
Thank you,
confusion.
Archie.
All right, so now I'd like to introduce finally candidate DePillo.
Well, thank you. In closing, I'd like to thank the Town Plot Neighborhood Association, its board of directors, my wife Frances, and all of you who took the time to come here this evening. The handout that I prepared for you depicts the history of Waterbury, the events that created our current economic state, and the independent party's plan to revitalize this once great city. I'm running for the office of mayor because I believe that Waterbury still can achieve a better future. Our ability to provide billions of gallons of potable water, treat its effluent, handle freight, and supply a competitively priced workforce is exactly what we need to jumpstart our future. Economic development is the engine that revives any community. Our high mill rate is due to an ever-shrinking business base. Our neighboring towns, which we share our resources, have become our most fierce competitors. And that is why homeowners in Waterbury pay between $400 to $1,000 a month in real property taxes. I want to remind you that this election is about you. It's about your needs. It's about your dreams. It's about what you see for you and your families. It's about what you make per year and how much of that income is disposable and how much of that income is paid to taxes. For a mayor that's making $120,000 a year, for a mayor who in his 50s is getting a $90,000 a year pension. You know, you wonder why the taxes are where they are. We need your vote. Thank you.
Before we get to candidate Van Stone, when the candidate is done, we have one more thing to announce, so don't jump up quite too soon, but candidate Van Stone.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank each of you for coming out. I'd like to thank Mayor Larry for coming out today for this very important forum. I'd like to hear a little bit about our ideas and what we think we could do as Mayor of Waterbury. At the end of the day, elections are about you. Larry's right. Are you happy? If you're happy right now with Waterbury, you have your choice. I invite you to re-elect Mayor Lee. If you're not happy, I ask you to look at me. I am not a politically savvy guy. I've not been in politics my whole life. I'm a businessman. I'm a father. I just want better. I'm the only challenger only running for mayor. It wasn't mentioned tonight, but Mr. DePill is also running for alderman. It might be the first time in Waterbury's history that's happened. I'm not sure. It's completely legal, but it shows you something. I'm committed to running for mayor because I want to be mayor. I'm not offering myself a backup plan. I'm doing it for you, not for me. So I ask you to join me in this trip. I ask you to look at Team Van Stone, many of which are standing behind you. Go to our website, vanstoneformayor.com. Look at the credentials of these people. Look at the education that my team has. These are the people that can bring Waterbury forward. These are the people who can put that vision in place that Mayor Leary spoke of. These are the people that at the end of the day can make Waterbury better. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight.
If you would please offer a round of applause for all three candidates for their service. Also, each of them was asked to come up with an essay, and we have copies of the essays at the table. So on your way out, please make sure you grab one essay for each of the candidates. There's also some other paperwork you might be interested in. There's applications for those of you who weren't able to join on your way in. Also, we have a citizen police training, Citizen Academy forms available, so you can ask the police department a little bit more about that. So that's it, folks. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.